Hello, I'm Mike Lacher with Industrial Lubricant. Okay, I want to go through the configuration of the injection bank manifold assembly, the pressure switch, and the gauge. We've got the main line grease coming in here, across over to the gauge, and this is just the manifold for the injectors. So pay close attention to the way this is orientated. If you have this any other way, you will fail this pressure switch prematurely. And it won't take you long to fail it, and I'll explain that why to you, but make sure that it looks just like this. If you have this pressure switch over here, the grease never gets freshened up, it stays over here, gets packed out, creates a plug in the pressure switch, and it will fail prematurely. If you have it orientated like this, the grease will come by and it will always be fresh grease coming by. And these pressure switches will last at least a year, maybe 2 years with this configuration. Any other way, 2, 3, 4 months, the pressure switch has failed and you've got a problem. I want to just show you the normal operation of how this is supposed to work. When you hit the prescribed number of strokes you got programmed into the control box, the system will start to build pressure, the electric motor's engaged. Obviously you see it coming up, we've just injected grease, pressure switch seen, we have sufficient pressure in the manifold, and it is shut down. The system is running just fine. Okay, here's some recommended settings for in the field. So if you're running 45 barrels a minute and lower, set the stroke count at 120. Injector setting, 4 turns open. So if you get into high rate, which is 45 barrels up to 90 barrels, then we want to set the stroke count at 90, injector setting at 8 turns open. Okay, so I want to talk about how to set an injector and also the different rates that they need to be set at. So for a low rate job, 45 barrels and under, you want to set the injector at 4 turns. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to run it all the way in and I'm going to show you how to set it. Now the reason we set it at 4 turns is because we're trying to limit the amount of grease going to the packing because you don't need that much. If you're doing a low rate job, you know, a half open injector, which is at 4 turns, is plenty of grease for what you're doing. You know, you can fine tune this to keep the grease out of your drip trays and stay in the process that you're trying to lubricate, which is the packings. So you've got it all the way in, so you just count your turns, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once you get your 4 turns established, run the jam nut down, snug it up a little bit, and you're good. So for high rate, what we're going to do is we're going to re-loosen the jam nut and we're just going to add 4 turns to this. Now what we're doing is we're increasing the output of grease going to the packing because of the heat buildup on a high rate. We need to try and combat that and keep that packing cooler so it doesn't start to deteriorate. So there again, we're just going to add 4 turns to this. There's 3 and 4. Once again, lock the jam nut down, and that's it. Okay, I want to talk to you about the vent valve again. The reason that we have a vent valve cycle is once these injectors inject their shot of grease, they need to reset, and under pressure they won't reset. So when the system shuts down, the vent valve opens, vents the grease pressure back into the tank, and you'll see the gauge drop to 0. So that's how the vent valve works in correlation with the injectors. Now the injectors can go bad over time. What you'll see is there's a weep hole on the front that's really obvious that the internals inside the injector have failed, and it'll expel grease out the front, and you'll see it. Just change it out. They are individually changeable, so there's just a nut down here. The whole thing pulls out. Just put one in, and away you go. Another thing that happens to them is when they go bad, when the system has pressure on it, instead of injecting a meter to mount, they will actually just pump grease to the lube point the whole time the pump is running. So if you look in your pans and you got a big pile underneath one and the other 2 look normal, you probably have an injector that's just dumping grease the whole time that's the system pumping. Okay, I want to talk to you about a plug check valve downstream or a packing ring in backwards or an over-tightened packing. So let's say you're smoking 1 packing out of 3 and you suspect it's the greaser's problem. Well, if you're building grease pressure above 2,000 and the other 2 holes are greasing just fine, come back to the one that's not greasing, watch the pin on the injector, cycle the pump. If that pin is not moving, something's plugged downstream. Like I said, either the check valve is plugged, it's in backwards, packing ring is in backwards, or the packing is simply too tight. All right, this is a check valve up on the packing lube point. Okay, see the arrow? The arrow needs to go towards the packing. So it's going into the hole of the packing to lubricate the packing. If it's the other direction, face back towards the line that it's hooked to, you've got it in backwards. Switch it around and put it in right.